morning, everyone. So, hesitation really, for the most part, would lead to missed opportunities. We will miss on things like, I don't know, buying a house or relationships, or even sometimes, if you hesitate, you could even miss out on life, or it could lead to your death. So, the quote I chose was, "He who hesitates is poor," by Zero Mosto. And I agree with that, mainly because of three reasons. The first one being, this applies to all of us in this class, in speech. If we hesitate on an opportunity to go before other people when giving our speech, that prolonged time will lead to more anxiety, and it could hinder our performance when we do get up to give our speech. Another example, and this is a personal example, a couple of years ago, I was looking on Ticketmaster.com, and I saw that there was a concert coming up for the Beach Boys. I'm not the biggest fan of the Beach Boys, but I know they're an older group, and I know that I like a couple of their songs. So I asked one of my buddies if he wanted to go, and he was like, "Let me think about it." So we thought about it, and eventually the concert came up, and I didn't go, he didn't go, so we missed out on that. And that's something I kick myself for, because I missed out on I don't know if they're ever going to have a concert again. So that's something that I'll probably regret for a long time. And my final example is a personal story from when I was in Afghanistan. We had I was one of the first people in my regiment to get there, and my main job, or my first job in Afghanistan, was I would record and watch troop movements. So you needed a secret clearance for that. Not everyone could do it, because that's something that's sensitive information that can't get out. So I was in our secret room, and I was watching flights come in with our troops, and I would make sure that everyone got there on time, the right amount of people got there, and I would make sure that they would go to their right locations. We got a new soldier, let's call him Private Madison. He came in, and he was probably in the Army for a little less than a year, so he was pretty unfortunate to go to Afghanistan so soon. But I was training him and showing him the ropes of what to do, and on a certain day we got attacked. We had mortars coming in, and when a mortar comes in, there's a alarm that rings out that gives you about a 5-second heads up that something's gonna hit. So that's good, better than no one when the bomb hits. But the first one landed probably a good 75 to 100 feet away, so it was really, really close. If you ever hear a bomb go off, that's really close. I remember hearing the dirt and the rocks fly on the roof of where we were. So the first thing we did was I told Private Madison to get down, and what policy is that when that happens, you get down for a couple seconds, and then when you think it's safe, run outside, and there's a concrete bunker to protect you from further attacks. So I get down with Private Madison. It's just us two in this secret shop that we're in, and I say, "All right, on the count of 5, both of us get up and we bolt." So I count to 5, and then I get up, I run, open the door, swing it open as hard as I can, and I run outside. And about halfway down the hallway, I don't hear any footsteps behind me. I turn around, and Private Madison wasn't behind me. I was like, "What's going on? Where is this guy?" So I go back, and I see that he was back on the computers, and he was individually logging off each computer. So that's policy to log off of secret computers, because you don't want anyone else to get on there. But we have this keypad on the door to prevent anything like that to happen. So I just grab him by the collar and I yank him out. Like, priorities. You gotta get out before, because the computers don't mean anything if a mortar lands on your head. So I grab him and head out, and we go into the bunker. So that was a learning experience for both of us, because he hesitated to do what was right, and before policy, I think his life would have been more important. So just grabbed him, and we both learned a lesson that day. And so in the end, I think that those who hesitate will miss out on anything, whether it be their life, whether it be a house that they could buy, or whether it be concerts or anything else. All right, thank you.
Is it okay that we know that? Same.
You're gonna knock on your door.
Know what?
Know about that? About your situation?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Oh, okay. Good.
You know, Josh.
Classic.
Sneeze? Jeez. Are you self-conscious?
If I ever saw him jealous so much.
Damn.
You might show you scribble.
All right, Josh, you have a clear statement of the idea at the beginning of the speech. You've got a very clear statement of your thesis as well. It sounds like you're going to start a preview, but actually, just as you get started on the preview, you actually just dive into the supporting structure of the speech. Now, it's not too hard to follow, but if you're going to set up at the beginning, it's a lot easier for us to tell what's coming. I think this is a good example of how easy it is to talk about things when you talk about specifics and you've got an example in your head. I mean, you elaborate a little bit on the story. You've got a lot of details that you're giving us in that last experience there, and that makes it easy for you to talk about it. It's just like if you were telling a friend of yours something that happened to you. And so it's not hard to find something to talk about. I think that's a good illustration of why you want to be as particular as possible instead of keeping it in an abstract level. Here's a hypothetical situation that you're talking about. Your delivery skills, I think, are pretty solid. Your voice projects well. There's very good variety in your voice. The rhythm is fine for the most part. Sometimes it felt a little bit like there's an awkward cadence, but that's just... It's not anything that's noticeable. It's just that I'm looking for something to pick out, and that was something that I heard. Now, I did think that your gestures are a little bit limited. I think they're at the end you had a couple of descriptive gestures, but during the rest of the speech, you pretty much have the topic in your two hands, and you kind of stay almost locked in that position. A couple of times, I think you do break from that, and then you yank the guy out and you do that kind of thing. And I think you need to be a little bit more free with that. Probably it wouldn't have been a problem if you'd gotten the topic out of your hands at the beginning of the speech. Once you told us what it was, stuck it in your back pocket, for instance, I think you would have been a lot more natural. So it wasn't that it was bad, it was just a little bit more limited than it needed to be. All right, thank you.